And good morning. It is Friday. We are off to the races. We certainly hope your day is going well. It's warmed up a little bit. We're up to 50 now, and it'll be a nice day, 71. Now, rain chances are changing a little bit. At first, we thought that during the day on Saturday it was going to rain. That has now shifted to nighttime. As a matter of fact, it's shifted to after midnight Saturday night. Expect storms to be moving through the area between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. We could have some severe weather. Tornadoes cannot be ruled out. We'll be on top of that should something turn ugly in the meantime. We'll be here behind the scenes working on that. How do you feel today? We certainly hope very, very good. We've got a big show lined up. Julia, that girl, taking the day off once again. Can y'all believe that? Back down at another parade. We'll do all that. Let's go to Collinsville. I think we've got it corrected here. If not, I'll fix it real quick here to make sure we've got the right episode this morning.
Every driving instructor teaches the same principle. Your car goes where your eyes go. Look at the guardrail and you'll drift toward it. But fix your gaze straight down the road ahead of you and you'll stay on course. Now, Apostle Paul applies this truth to the Christian life in Colossians 3. He says, set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Now, this isn't about being so heavily minded you're no earthly good, right? It's about recognizing a spiritual reality. What captures your mind captures your life. Think about what dominates your thought life. What do you scroll through mindlessly? What worries loop in your head? What desires pull your attention? Your body will follow. If your mind fixates on material success, then you're going to chase it. If bitterness occupies your thoughts, it's going to poison your relationships. If lust captures your imagination, look, it'll direct your actions. So Paul reminds us we've been raised with Christ. His resurrection power lives in us. We have to access that power by fixing our minds on Him. You see, when Christ fills our thoughts, His character shapes our choices. His priorities become ours. His love flows through us. Your life is hidden with Christ in God. That's your true identity, your real home. Keep looking there. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Because just like driving, when you look away from where you're headed, you'll veer off course. Let Christ capture your mind today. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that message. As we said, 6:34 as you're waking up. We do hope your morning is going well for you. You got a smile or some sort? Something like going off to, well, I guess the high point here, it is Friday. The weekend is here. A few of you don't have that option. You got to work. But for the majority, Fridays are wonderful. This is Major, little girl from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Y'all all know where that is. She's 6 years old. She's broken a record. And I don't know the arithmetic because I don't know what they cost, but she has now gone into the Girl Scouts Hall of Fame, I would say. Sold 80,000 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. She's the number one seller. That's a bunch of cookies, y'all. That made her smile and helped out a lot there. We're proud of her. And besides, the rest of us are happy that got those Girl Scout cookies. And I want to say what made her go over the top was she was still going out to the little stores and things, but she made an online thing and people bought online from her. Congratulations to her on that. I did not know about this at all, but we've got a 21-year-old Marine who is being now considered deceased. He went overboard the USS Iwo Jima. He's been declared dead. I didn't know that he was missing. They searched for 2 days and have not come up with his body. That is so saddening. Also, I was not aware of this. We had two of our own, you might say, collide with each other in the Caribbean. Minor injuries were reported, nothing major there, but what caused it, we're not sure. Guess you can say anything can happen, can it? It wasn't long ago they had a boo-boo with a ship and they took the commander of the ship off, replaced him. I don't know if there's anything like that going to happen with this or not. This is one of my Earl Pitts moments. You know what makes me mad? You makes me so mad we watched all this unfold together. Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. as people took to the streets of Minnesota, protested. Now, there's not one of us that would deny anybody the right to protest if it's done lawfully. But as you remember, they began to tear up things. Y'all remember all that? Just because they could. Tim Walz, the governor that will not be reelected, is now wanting the American taxpayer to pay for everything that those people tore up. Now, I don't agree with that. How do you feel about it? Should we be held accountable for their actions? You should get names, make them pay for what they tore up. It's my 2 cents on the subject. I don't care who it is protesting. If you tear up something, you should be held responsible. That's why they're called peaceful protest. I don't think he's got a chance. I think he's a good fella, but I don't think that he would get elected. Ron DeSantis making more moves that people are projecting that he will probably take another run at the presidency in 28. If a Republican is elected, I would lean more toward the Vance ticket. If I were a guessing man, if I was on those Vegas odds, I think that's where it will fall, should it happen. There's no guarantee on anyone. And I may not say this name correctly. Palisade. Do you remember the California fires? And we go back and Trump was telling them, hey, if you hadn't cut back on all this water, we might not have this problem. Well, a judge has sort of seen it that way also, and they're going to let people that lost their homes move forward with a lawsuit against the city because, well, the city didn't take care of them the way they were supposed to. Let there be a lesson learned out of this. Safety, safety, safety. You can squawk all that other, but the American citizen should be taken care of. And if you're an elected official, that's your job. It's plain and simple in my book. So many missed the boat on that. California. Golly, it's beautiful country, isn't it? A lot of movies been made there. It's always California. Remember the California, wish they could all be California girls? It has its beauties. It also has its downsides. I don't quite get this, but one of the Los Angeles neighborhoods, they're installing, get this now, sirens at their homes to alert others that law enforcement is coming. But yet they still call law enforcement when they're in need. Take that for what it's worth. You decide how you like that news. This is an ever-growing problem in America. We have it coming to Meridian. We know this. We have one, if not maybe more, coming to the Meridian area as these data centers across America keep popping up. They tell us that in the near future that your electric bill will more than double due to these problems. How does that strike you? I haven't heard one person say that once this comes, we're going to be getting more tax money and we're going to lower your taxes. That needs to happen. Our land taxes and everything is just out of proportion here. We get taxed when you go to a restaurant, that extra percentage for the max. We're taxed. And I haven't seen an end in sight for that tax to go away. Have you? You know why? I don't think there is one written into that law. That's for your 2 cents. You need to know that. Nissan. Oh boy, they're going to be cutting about 6 plants, maybe 7 by the year 2028. Sales are slumped, and it's just not happening. You might say that Toyota has opened up a can. It's hurt them. They're going to be cutting close to, I think it was 1,000 jobs that will be also 20,000 jobs. Let me rephrase that. I was 19 off. Now, this is worldwide. This is not in the U.S. It's worldwide. Their imprint will be smaller. Now, I watch this, and this is how we often refer to it as the legacy media, how they will, tell you a fib or two now and then. There's the audio that's on television that was played during the Super Bowl. When Bad Bunny walks out, the crowd goes ecstatic, they're happy, they're clapping. That's what was shown on television. But video that was filmed at the exact same time from a cell phone and put on regular internet, Facebook and Twitter, well, guess what? There was no applause. The audience stood there and watched. That's no lie. I've listened to both. They added basically clapping and laughter and applause to that. Like you'd have a live studio audience and they don't clap loud enough, but, well, they've got that in the background to add to it. And it looks as though that was done there. Here's what we're finding out more and more about this. Bad Bunny's performance, boy, the audience really did leave. It was a decline of 7%. When Bad Bunny took the stage, 7% of all that were watching the Super Bowl on television walked away. That's not counting the ones that just left it on and left the room. It dropped from 137.9 million people to, I believe, 128. A lot of people walked away from it. It's still high, the number is, but they were already there. And it's time the NFL wakes up and realize who's supporting them. You should know all of that. My, oh, my, oh, my. Here's something that will stir some. The Church of England, it needs to be said, has voted 252 to 132 to cease efforts advancing LGBTQ acceptance in the church. That's the Church of England. You can't change what's written in the Bible, or you shouldn't. There is a price to pay for that later. We'll leave it at that, but that's what's going on with the Church of England. Gene Simmons, a very outspoken person. I call him a hippie. I don't guess he is. He's got long hair, and he danced around with makeup with high heels. Yeah, he was a part of KISS, if you remember. He is well outspoken. He can no longer return to Fox Studios. I remember watching that where he went to office and opened doors, and they were in meetings. They didn't like it, so he was banned from there. But he's an outspoken person, and he says that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, well, inducting rappers, they don't belong there. I'll leave it at that. He said a whole lot more, but he's disagreeing with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, saying that it should be left to rock and roll inductees. We back up and remember, Dolly even said, I shouldn't be a member of this. I'm not rock and roll. But yet they still put Dolly in there. She disagreed and she declined it, but they still put her in. We have different styles of music for reasons. If you love rap, you love rap. If you love country, you love country, and so forth. Y'all know where I'm going with that. Rock and roll is rock and roll. They sometimes try to muddy the waters, don't they? You ever been wrong about something in life? I'm one of those. When I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong. And do you ever judged a book by its cover? Well, I'm guilty. I 100% judged this man by the cover of his look. John Fetterman is who I'm talking about. He showed up to Congress wearing a hoodie, and I thought, man, this is a disgrace. Everybody doesn't dress that way. I thought he would be so far out there and different, but turns out he's basically like the average American. I don't even view him as a Republican or Democrat. He kind of just shoots straight forward with what he thinks. And for most parts, not everything, he thinks the way I do, there's right, there's wrong. He tells us why he voted against this. And I'll have to tell Odie the bad news here in a minute. The government shutdown is probably going to happen this weekend. Homeland Security will fall short. They'll be defunded this weekend is what it will happen. Now, ICE will still operate. They thought they were going after ICE. ICE already has their money to keep going. But this will shut down Coast Guards and things of this nature. It will TSA and cybersecurity agencies. Cybersecurity is very important to our nation. Senators are not going to fund this. He voted to keep funding for that. There's many that aren't wanting to do this. But DHS shut down by certain, if the Senate vote fails, and most likely will, is what we're expecting. That's what's going to happen this weekend. Fetterman voting for it. Let's see here. Here's a big step. And I looked this up because we don't deal with this language every day. The average Joe gets up, he goes to work, he minds his own business. He pays his bill, and he catches a little bit of the headlines of what happens in Washington. You don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. You ever heard of an SBA loan? Well, I've heard that name somewhere, so I looked it up to make sure everybody was on par with what that is. It's a small business loan, and it's guaranteed by the U.S. Small Business Administration. Loans. Well, something unique happened with this yesterday. The United States has been giving money away like it was on a Christmas tree. A policy hit the U.S. Small Business Administration effective March 1st is when this will go into effect. Business owners can no longer get a SBA loan unless all of the owners are U.S. citizens. Did y'all get that? Everybody that owns that business has to be a citizen of the U.S. Green card holders are no longer eligible to get that. Pretty important there to know these things. There's been many that come to our country that get these loans, and they'll own them for, year and a half, 2 years, and then they sell them to someone who's kin to them, and it rolls. And your money keeps going away, and it's got to be cut back to American citizens. I don't have a problem with that because you pay taxes like I do. They're saying that today, next week, you never want to get ahead of the horse and cart, but it's supposedly going to be like a Georgia event. And you're thinking, Charlie Daniels, I bet. Oh, no, that's not where I'm going with this. This is involving Arizona integrity voting laws. What went on there? It looks as though investigators are going to be heading there as we have people testifying that, and get this now, truckloads of ballots arrived a week after Arizona's 2020 election. They have workers testifying that ballots kept coming after November the 10th. Front and back doors, unknown quantities or origins where they came from. Someone is actually looking into this. Not accusing anyone, we're telling you what the facts are. We know what's going on in Georgia, what happened in Arizona. If this is true, it needs to be looked into. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But that is what the note is this morning. A judge has failed to throw this out. They were really hoping. BBC, it's across the pond. Donald Trump put in a lawsuit for them editing video to make him look like he said something else, a $10 billion lawsuit against him. They wanted it thrown out, and guess what? The judge is not going to do that. That was wrong of them to do that. You know that as well as I do. I watched this, and let me just show you a picture here. Did anybody watch this yesterday? It starts out, this guy here is the head law enforcement guy in the state of Minnesota. He refuses out of the gate to even admit to what his job is. It's sad. And what we're getting into is where Somali fundraisers and money was shifted, $250 million. Contributions were later given to different agencies that shouldn't have got it. But that was something, you should watch that. You really should. Here's something that is peculiar. Maybe it's not peculiar, or maybe it's just me living in Mississippi. The Attorney General, Senator John Ossoff, he's a Democrat from Georgia. And let me show you his picture. I want y'all to take a look at this guy. Here he is right there. This guy right here. Now, what he did, he voted against voter ID for voting. He didn't want that. But to get into his campaign rally at his party, you had to show ID to arrive to be let into his party. Something wrong with that? What's that old saying? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Is that how it goes, or is it worded differently than that? It's something similar to that. I sometimes get things twisted up like that. We're already starting to see some cutbacks due to AI. A big law firm known as Baker McKenzie, I believe they're in the Chicago area. They're laying off 1,000 people because, they're using AI to do what they used to do. Whoa. Now, there'll be a job. It's horrible if you're going through that, but more jobs will be created in different areas. Seems to be helping out. I watched this, and you can go back and watch this also. And let me, this Brett Barton News covered this. Let me show you her picture. Do you remember this lady? She is the one that pushed there at the encampment, and maybe encampment is the wrong word, where they were holding people that weren't U.S. citizens. There's a word for it, and I can't think of it. And she pushed one of the agents. Well, she was arrested there. when she's being interviewed, the guy starts out the questioning, and she goes, "Are you going to hell?" That was her question. She just kept on and on, asking me if he went to church. It had nothing to do with the case at hand. So many people never want to face the fire of what they did. She actually did push that guy. Here's something that is alarming. Some few years ago, the average person that was having to, these companies that offer you where you consolidate your loans to put it down to one bill. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of those across the U.S. At that point in time, the average person that had to go to a place like that made $40,000 a year. This was pre-COVID. After COVID, do y'all know what the average income of somebody that has to go get help now? They're making $70,000 a year and can't make ends meet. It all started with the snowball effect from not being able to work back in COVID. That's for the honest people that didn't try to steal from the government. Y'all remember all that, don't you? But it's amazing. And as you dig into this, it's almost like a Golden Girls moment. They've interviewed several people in their 70s and 80s that have had to take in friends to where they could combine their bills to be able to make ends meet. The Golden Girls, it was really a good thought. 4 of them got together so they'd be cheaper on all of them. And that's what's happening across America. Eventually it will get better, but right now it's tough there. Hey, Shirley Sharp, good to see you there. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. I sometimes get quotes mixed up. Ask my wife, she'll tell you. We'll be back with your weather forecast in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Bo Cephas is in the house, y'all. We'll introduce you to him in just a moment. We'll be right back.
For over 40 years, you've been able to count on Watt Equipment in DeKalb, Mississippi. They've got your Massey Ferguson's brand new 23 up to 135 horse cab and air tractors. They've got all your hay equipment needs, all your bush hogs. If your tractor needs it, they got it. Also remember, they service all makes and models, whether it's green, orange, blue, red, or yellow. They can get your parts in, they can do your service on your equipment. Don't forget Watt Equipment, DeKalb, Mississippi.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
Record highs and record lows. Y'all remember 1962, it was a warm 84. Now, I don't think anybody's around that was standing around in 1899, but let me tell you, it was cold. A negative 6 degrees in Meridian, Mississippi in 1899 on today's date. My, oh my, we're expecting 72 today. Here's what our forecast calls for, 71, 72, depending upon where you're standing. The further north we go, we get into 68 in the Columbus. We'll get to somewhere around 65 there at the state line for a high. Down through Vicksburg, about 74, even reaching 77s in Natchez. 68 on the Gulf Coast. As we look at tonight, not bad, 48 for Meridian. We'll see that all the way through Louisville. Start dropping temperatures around Columbus and finally making about 43 in Iuka, about 48 over near Tunica. As we go down the river, 55 at Vicksburg and 55 as well on the water there in Gulfport. As we turn to Bama, not bad at all, 69 in Demopolis, 64 in Birmingham, and we'll even see 69 as well in Montgomery, and warming up a little bit as you get there to Troy. Now, as we look at this, here's that warming trend that keeps coming across here from Texas there, northern Mississippi getting warm. As we look at the 7-day forecast, now let's look at what's going on here. As we see that we have 70 to 72, depending on where you are in the state. No chance of rain today. Low tonight, 48. By tomorrow, we have originally we had rain coming in during the day. We no longer have that. It's going to be a beautiful day on Saturday, 74 for a high, low of 58. We start seeing rain start moving in early Sunday morning, and we'll put this, call it Saturday night, Sunday morning, 4 a.m. We have a threat of severe weather to 8 a.m., 100% chance of showers moving in. A chance of tornadic activity will occur in those early morning hours, some strong winds, and we'll look at that in just a second as it comes in. Sunday, we'll reach 71. By Monday, the rain moves out. We'll get to 69. And look at this, nearly 80 as we get to Thursday. Now, here's what we're looking at right here is what I was talking about that severe weather. As it moves in Saturday night into Sunday morning, all of the Meridian area, Kemper County is included in this, Philadelphia, and south to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, including Vicksburg. Right now, Louisville and points in Knoxville County are clear of this storm but our area definitely has this. 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Isolated thunderstorms, winds up to 60 miles an hour. Now let's go another week into February toward the 27th. Y'all see it there, 79 on the 20th. Might as well just call that 80, hadn't you? February. 71 on the 21st, and we'll stay in the upper 60s to 70s all the way through the 27th. Nighttime lows between 45 to 50. Not bad. Chances of showers a good bit during that time. As we look at our fishing forecast to end the week, calm today with the weather and the wind becoming east around 5 miles an hour. Now, your major times to fish today are 8 o'clock this morning through 10 a.m. A minor time this afternoon from 1:30 to 2:30 to fish. Sunrise happened at 6:39, and get this, we get a sunset all the way till 5:39. Looking better, isn't it? We're already at 6:57. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to recoup, get a cup of coffee, and we'll be back with the morning show. I hope you'll join us. It's Friday. Be back. It'll kick off at 7. We'll be here.